Welcome back, everyone, and well, you kind of know the drill by now. This is Ben,
And this is Allie.
and welcome back to everyone's favorite game or every game show, Ageless Gaming.
Woo!
Well, like literal game show. It means game podcast about gaming. So yeah. This week we're going to the deep depths of bug kind, hollownest. We're focusing on Hollow Knight tonight, or today.
They might be listening to it at night, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it might be going into like Russia or Alaska or something.
That would be pretty sweet. If it's in Alaska, then it's never night during the summer.
Where it's night during the summer, then you'll probably be doing the night. So let's get on to it. So basically, Hollow Knight, I actually been playing like really recently, and I'm still playing it just to kind of get to the nitty-gritty details of the game. And I should probably go to like the very start of it.
Okay.
It actually happened not back in the 20th century, but in 21st century in 2014, which is this is one of the games that actually happened really recently. It actually was created by two guys, Ari Gibson and William Pellin, and they actually started their game on Kickstarter, which is basically just a website to make a game and stuff, kind of like itch.io or Steam or any of those gaming platforms. They actually, before Hollow Knight even existed, there's actually a game called Hungry Knight. And it actually had some of the same concepts as Hollow Knight. You had this little bug thing, and the way you have to survive is eat cherries and go around eating cherries to survive and getting 3 masks to basically revive a friend that died, but the way that it ended is that you're walking home with a skeleton.
Oof.
Not really like an exoskeleton, but like an actual skeleton. Why? But then later they actually kickstarted Hollow Knight on, Kickstarter. I mean, that's the entire point of Kickstarter. You're kickstarting a game. And basically they actually so they actually had a lot of kickstarting stuff and like what to actually have in the game, and then in like skipping forward to 2019 to the day, it's a big game now. I mean, next to Mario and all those other games, and the reason why I actually like Hollow Knight is because I mean, it's actually a Metroidvania style game, which basically means that it is like it's expensive. It's a really big game with a lot of things to do, and it proves that point. It has a lot of things to do, and the thing is, again, that I said that you plays the same game you did in back in Hungry Knight. But the thing is that there is a lot of things that haven't been in the game or haven't been implemented in the game. Well, I probably won't be doing it this episode, but and actually, here's probably what I will do. I'll actually do like a 2-parter, maybe a 3-parter, because there's a lot to go over. Because, again, there's a lot to go over. So you actually start off in what is called hollownest, which basically is a hollow nest. I mean, it's just an empty nest. And you start off in a fading town called Dirtmouth. Which, by a name like that, I think it would be fading, but there actually is a bug that still persists in or still lives in the town, and it can either go two ways. You can actually talk to him, or you can completely ignore him. And if you do ignore him, he'll say, "Hey, why are you ignoring me? I mean, I might have some useful information for you. Otherwise, I'd be fading like this town." But the thing is that Dirtmouth actually acts as a kind of a central hub, and it is kind of where you can just rest and buy stuff. And again, it doesn't really have too much to offer. I mean, it has like 3 buildings, and actually I should mention that the entire studio is actually called Team Cherry. And the thing is that Team Cherry did have a concept for the entire thing. They actually when you progress through the game, you actually had more people, more bugs in it, and there was actually like some sort of gruzz fly, some sort of fly-looking NPC or something. In other cases, there actually wasn't, and actually, the entire story is pretty big. I mean, not as big as any of the other games, but big enough. I mean, and like it's not really obvious of what you're trying to do, or it doesn't really tell you like an actual story in the beginning. But when you go down into what is essentially the Forgotten Crossroads, you actually run across this big temple, and inside it is a giant big black egg, which looks weird. I mean, it has 3 masks, symbolizing that you have to kill 3 things or something to essentially get into it. And what you essentially do is that, I mean, you go around the world trying to get everything, and again, as I said, this is a big game, so there's a lot of maps you have to get. And the first map is in the Forgotten Crossroads, so you don't really, it doesn't really do something for you, but the thing is, once you get the map, you actually do unlock something in Dirtmouth, a new shop, which will give you 2 or 3 charms, which is the big thing in this game. And there are 60-some charms in there in the game, like 62 or 63. I forget now, but some might correct me in the comments. But the thing is that I actually got every charm in the game, and the 3 charms you get is a Wayward Compass, which is essential to the game, Gathering Swarm, and Stalwart Shell. Wayward Compass basically marks your place in the map, so you don't really get lost. Gathering Swarm isn't too obvious. I mean, but one basically does if you do forget some money or geo, it's what's called in the game, then there will be some Lumaflies that will pick up the geo that you forgot.
Like geode?
Geo, G-E-O.
Oh, that was gonna be geode, like a pretty rock.
No.
Dang it.
But the thing is that then there's Stalwart Shell, which is, I think, a weird charm. I mean, I don't really use much because I don't even know what it does. I mean, it says that makes you vulnerable or invulnerable more often when you're trying to get away from an enemy or something. But besides that, it doesn't really. I don't see any use for it. I mean, but then there are other charms you can actually get. Most of them you can get from buying something, or you can actually get it from discovering something. And there are some bosses in the game that I did actually have a little trouble getting, or a little trouble actually beating, because I usually get my butt whooped every time. The first boss you actually meet, or you can actually encounter, is more of a mini boss, Gruzzerfly, or Gruzzmother. Which again, it's just a big fly that's a mother, and
protect her young.
Yeah, and once you kill her, what would you expect? Like nothing, or
all the babies to attack?
Yeah, that's what happens. You see the carcass kind of
wiggles.
Yeah, wiggling a little, and then it just explodes.
So gross.
Yeah, you don't have to expect it as a game, because, it's a mixture of cute and creepy. So
that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, but there will be some more cuter things on down the road. There actually are 2 other bosses. One is optional, and one is crucial to defeat. The other one is Brooding Molech.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's basically just a volcano with teeth.
Ooh.
And legs and like 2 scythes.
A volcano?
Well, it looks like a volcano. It kind of erupts. And actually, one thing that you do kind of notice is that they, once you kill an enemy, they actually kind of blow die with like an orange mist or smoke or something. They actually, it is actually what is called the infection. It actually has been, infecting Dirtmouth not it's infecting hollownest for years, and the thing is that I'll probably have to do it in the next episode, or some other episode. And yeah, and then there is the actual boss you have to defeat, and that is False Knight, which you it's a false knight. And actually, once you actually beat him 3 times, there will be a kind of a maggot, or like an actual bigger maggot, that kind of looks cute. I mean, he has like a face or something, and he kind of sounds derpy, like yeah, kind of like that. Like your first playthrough, you might feel kind of bad of killing him, because all you wanted to do was be the tough guy. And the thing is, what that actually does for you is unlock the Ancestral Mound, which gives you the ability of your first spell. There are 3 spells in the game. Your first spell is Vengeful Spirit, which basically is like a spell, which, and also Soul is the biggest part of this game. You might be thinking like Soul is like someone's heart or something. Well, no, Soul is actually like what bugs used for centuries, for like a spell, like a spell fuel, a fuel for spells. And yeah, there are a total of 6 spells. The other 3 are actually more of upgrades to the spells that you actually have learned. And the thing is, again, there are a lot of things that kind of make me go, what? It's just kind of weird. And also, what beating Gruz's mother gets you is unlocking another merchant. Well, actually, two new merchants. The first merchant is Sly, and actually, I should mention that the first merchant is Zelda. It's like Iselda.
So not Zelda, but...
Yeah, not Zelda, but Zelda. Yeah, Iselda.
Okay.
Which is basically a map merchant. Well, her husband is a map merchant, but she's just a merchant that doesn't really like. But anyway, but then the second one I'll be going on a little bit more is Belda. I think her name is I forget her name now, but she is a giggling type. She actually thinks that the hero that you play is handsome, and by the looks of it, that actually she is blind because he just looks like a guy. He just looks like a shy guy with no mouth.
I thought all of them were bugs.
Yeah, they are bugs.
Oh, okay.
He does like if you look up Hollow Knight or just look up Hollow Knight Ghost, then you'll probably see what I mean.
Okay.
But the other of you that are listening to this, you'll probably know what I mean. And actually, the only thing that she's actually good for, the girl that the bug that giggles, is, or not really giggles, but like kind of chuckles a little bit when you, like, she actually is a charm enthusiast. She likes charm so much that she, like, there actually are a lot of things you can actually get from her. New charms, you can get charm notches, which are the things that you equipped on those notches. There are a total of 8 notches you can collect. You start out with 3 notches, which doesn't really seem that much good. I mean, if you're wanting to do something with them, and also one thing you do want to watch out for is, and I wasn't even aware this could happen on my first run, or the beginning of the playthrough, was that you actually have too many notches. Because they have notch costs, which basically means that you can only fit like so many notches on one thing, and if you just force it in, then it'll basically say overcharmed, and basically what that means is that you'll take 2 times more damage than what you really do. So, like, if you were facing off a enemy that took three things off of you, you'd probably be dead in an instant.
Dang.
And you only start off with like 5 hearts, but there's like a mask health, which masks are the big thing in health, not really hearts.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then. There is there's fast travel. There is, actually, I do want to say that you don't really get them yet, but there are actually a thing called stag stations, which basically, well, again, being a bug game, it's a station with stag beetles.
What do the stag beetles do?
They're kind of like fast travel things. You hit a bell, and they come, and you can basically go anywhere you want.
Sweet.
And the thing is, your first encounter with a rival is in the Green Path, and that rival is Hornet. I mean, you'd actually would think she'd be like some sort of hornet thing, but no, she is almost kind of the same as you, but The thing is, it'll be more apparent on why that is, but the thing is, Hornet really doesn't really like your kind. She says that what you're going to go up against is more of what you would actually expect. You'd think she could be evil, but she, I guess, is almost trying to protect you, but it doesn't really seem apparent. Again, it's not really apparently obvious, but and then this is where the difficulty dial just boosts up. And your first ability, the Mantis Cloak, I think it's called. No, it's called it's Mantis Claw, I think.
Okay.
No,
Mantis Claw.
Well, actually, no, it's in another thing. Yeah, I forget what it's actually called now, but it's something like that. It's some sort of cloak that will let you dash, which in the earlier game you couldn't really dash before, but you just dash with the ZR button, or the R button, I think. But anyway, and then Fungal Waste, which is where you have one of your mini boss battles, which I actually like this one, the Mantis Lords, which they actually oppose a difficulty for you because there actually are 3 Mantis Lords. And the first Mantis Lord comes up and, acts like a mantis, like is fast, but then it actually boosts up like that, and you basically are fighting 2 Mantis Lords. And this is where it kind of got a little bit difficult. Because I had to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to them every time I got something or got something I could beat them with. And then yeah, so that is where you get the Mantis Claw. The Mantis Claw, lets you hang on to walls. And that is where things get more good for you. And also, what also paths off is the City of Tears, which you think is a sad city. It is, but the thing is, it's basically deserted. No one lives there. There's a bunch of sentries guarding the place, even though there isn't anyone to guard the place.
So who's guarding it?
Sentries, even though there's no one living in it.
Okay.
But they were trying to guard the city from the infection. And the thing is that that the Elderbug says that the entire place, the City of Tears, is the capital of hollownest. And then there's actually a boss, 2 bosses that you can beat. One you can beat early on. The other one you have to beat until you go around to it and then try to get it on. And then the thing is that there's actually a memorial to what is essentially known as the Hollow Knight. That is basically the name of the game. You're basically going up against a guy or a bug that actually was a sacrifice. And but the thing is that some plans don't really go to plan, or some plans don't really aren't really good.
Some things don't work out as planned.
Exactly. It kind of seems a bit weird at first, but when you understand the lore better, then you'll probably know why. Well, we'll actually have to stop it there because we'll have to stop. So let us know if you want a part 2 But we'll probably do it anyway because who cares?
Maybe we'll talk more about the lore you mentioned.
Yeah, we'll talk about more of the story, some of the more bosses, and like the entire lore overall.
Sweet. We will see you next time.
Bye bye.